Well, welcome back to KC Cares, Kansas City's window on the nonprofit community and the people they serve. If you like what we bring to the community, you can support our efforts. Visit kccaresonline.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis.
And I'm Bobby Keys.
This is a fun show today, a really extra fun show.
Yeah, that's you can't beat the energy that's going on in the nonprofit world. We got, and the entrepreneurial world, education. You got Larry Jacobs talking about that, all the stuff that they're doing at the Kauffman Foundation. You've got, KC Pet Project that just blew up. That center is awesome.
We got to go.
Oh,
we'll be bringing that to our listeners. We'll get pictures of the animals, and then Bobby will probably have his limit of 3 dogs. I'm just saying, it's my prediction. You heard it here first. But now we have the Bean Baron, Mr. Danny O'Neill. Yes. And I know we'll have to show and tell. We have some roastery product here, barrel-aged whiskey cold brew, which we are going to dive into once we finish this show.
I started.
Bobby's already there.
I started.
He's already there. Danny, welcome back.
Welcome. Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. I appreciate it.
And you just fit with today's show in so many ways, because when I think of entrepreneur, I think of you.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you.
And I was looking on the website the other day, and I was drilling down, and I love the picture of that first year when it was you in a basement. And now, look, you've celebrated 25 years, and you're doing incredible things. Was this something you ever would have dreamed of in terms of establishing a company that's very charitable? That's our loop, folks. So I wanted to tie that all in.
Well, we had great models, great examples. This weekend, a friend of mine came over from KU Med, and we were down in the basement. And I said,
back in the basement.
Yeah, and I said, oh my gosh. I said, 26 years ago, I would have been right here roasting coffee, ironing the bag shut. That was my first bag sealer. And I said, and here you are. KU Med was our first customer. How fun is that?
That's great.
But no, I did not imagine it growing to the size that we are. But I was talking to Jeff, and I just said, I don't feel like it's really changed that much. My world hasn't changed that much. My philosophy hasn't changed that much. I'm still living in the same house. My lifestyle hasn't really changed that much. I think philosophically, I'm pretty much still where I was. As far as like the business is, buy the best coffee in the world, roast it the best way known to mankind, get to the customer as fast as humanly possible, but then still answering the question, so what? So why are you doing it? And the service for others, service of and for others, about the others, who's the hero? The customer, and then the community and the environment. I immediately think of Ewing Kauffman, I think of Barnett, I think of Henry, I think of all the great people in front of us who just, they had to think of it, they had to figure it out. All we have to do is follow them in our little meager way. You know what I mean? The path is already set. Roseanne, I couldn't afford to hire her for an hour, yet she donates hours every single day to things like this, right? How cool is that? We're so lucky in Kansas City to have folks like her. Joan Israelite, Shirley Hellsberg. We didn't have to think of anything. All we had to do in our little baby way is try to follow them, and that's really all we've tried to do. And I was thinking about coming over here, and I was thinking about, oh my God, I feel guilty. God, if they ever have one, I'm thinking, what if people knew how much we gave? What if we didn't give enough? What if people didn't consider that enough? And it's just, most of us would do a lot more if we could. You know what I mean? We would love to change the world. But I don't know. I just think about do no harm, do as much good as you can. I was meeting with Joy this morning for the Girl Scouts, and I said, well, we can do a little bit on our own, but we could probably do a lot more if we somehow find a way to wrap it into something we're doing at the company, something entrepreneurial. And that's what I try to do. I just try to do as much good as you can. And oh my God, honest to God, no hollow platitudes, but I just think every day, I suck. I could do so much more. We could do so much more. We should be so much bigger.
Yeah.
We should be doing so much more. But it's kind of like that, I don't know, like Jesus said, there'll always be poor. There will always be poor.
Mm.
And then if you're going to do something, don't go out on the corner and call a bunch of attention to yourself. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it behind the scenes. And so we try to do as much as we can that way.
I love that angle. What you're just kind of talking about is doing good and owning a business. That's and I think I see more and more that these days. Is that kind of something that you see and kind of you see more and more companies kind of gravitating to, tying in some type of business venture into the community?
Yeah, I think so. That I used to get mocked for it a lot early on, but I mean, growing up at a Catholic school, we were always selling inferior baked products, right? Nasty tasting stuff that nobody wanted to buy, nasty magazine subscriptions that nobody wanted, and we would do it from sheer guilt. Mm-hmm. And it was always dawned on me that as soon as I wasn't there, they were going to buy what tasted good, or they were going to read what they wanted. So it wasn't sustainable. Yeah. So in 1993, when I started this, I thought, I am not going to do that. We're going to hook up with a great product that, the typical customer, when no one's looking, they're going to reach out and buy what tastes good. Mm-hmm. So why not hook up something? So again, this is not novel today, but in 93, maybe it wasn't novel, but it wasn't very common. I thought if people said, oh my God, I love great coffee. I like this coffee. And I can do a little good by buying it.
Yeah.
That would be sustainable.
Yeah.
And again, today it's fairly common, but in 93, I had a lot of people in my face about it. But 26 years later, we've never added it up, but we've, helped raise a ton of money for a lot of different causes. And so inherently, we're going to do what's easy. We're going to buy what tastes good. We're just humans, right? Yeah. So if you make it easy, and I always have this mantra, just make it easy to do business. Just make it easy.
Right.
Today they call it friction. Take the friction out. But I just say, just make it easy for me, and then make it easy to do the right thing. It's like recycling, I heard one time, my mind works kind of goofy, but I heard a contractor say one time about how to increase the recycled goods. So all the dumpsters for the trash, for the landfill, were really, really close. If you wanted to recycle something, you had to walk like 100 yards away. So he flipped them. And to put something in the trash, it was really hard. Mm-hmm. To put it in recycle was easy. So overnight, it went up. So I think about that in the same way of donations or community work. Make it easy for me to do it, mm-hmm. then I'll probably do it.
Yeah, I encounter the same thing in my for-profit business. Is a lot of clients is you have to make it easy for people to buy from you. Like even today, like especially now, like people want right now immediate satisfaction. I want to be able to go to your website, buy it, and be done within 30 seconds. And that's with anything. So
even like the guest before, right? Mm-hmm. Which I absolutely love that project. Well, you should rescue a dog. You should do all that. Well, we know we should.
Yeah.
Guilt isn't going to get, so make it easy for me. They have this beautiful space out there. You can go in and you can have a cup of coffee if you want. You can sit there. You can get to know your dog. You can go outside or pet, whatever. Mm-hmm. You can spend time. They make it easy for you to rescue a pet.
Yeah.
They make it easy to do the right thing. And in my strong opinion, we should do that. Yes. No matter what it is, make it easy to do the right thing. Make it harder to not, to do the contrary.
You started early on with something very simple, the Cause Blend. When did that come in, and how has that grown?
We started, I think that first blend that we did was for St. Peter's, and that was in November of 1993.
So they've
And,
been around since your
from
inception.
the get-go. That was we sold 60 bags of coffee after church one Sunday, and Father Waris was like ahead of it, saying, "Do you think anybody would buy it?" And I said, "I did." Honest, the guy said, "Well, hell yeah, they'd buy it, Father. They're already going to buy it. They're already buying coffee. Everybody buys coffee. Why not? Why would they not buy good coffee?" And now it's, I mean, probably millions of pounds later, we proved it. One time I drove down to Panama a couple times to meet farmers along the way. And one particular trip, I remember going through Chiapas, and this lady who was helping me with the trip said she was going to take me to this school, this orphanage. I said, "No, I don't want to see any starving kids. I don't want to see people in hunger. I want to find the best coffee that I can find, period. And then I already know whatever that is, I can take a tomato and hit somebody in need." So everything else was upside down, meaning there might be this, terrible cause, or orphanage or something like that in Haiti, and then people would try to find something to support that. So I wanted to find great coffee, and then I knew that if I tied it to whatever country I was in, to that community, I would be able to help people in need. So get them with the coffee, get them with the quality, and then pivot and help whoever. And we started doing that in the mid 90s, I think.
Yeah.
And so we built schools or helped build schools in daycare centers in Brazil, and community centers in Colombia.
That's amazing.
Daycare centers in Costa Rica.
So you instead of just giving money to that cause, you basically build up the community by buying a product from them, and then everybody.
And we never had any money to give. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No money to make a difference.
Yeah.
But the difference there was, it's like a magazine. Give me a magazine. That's a little outdated example, but give me something I already love that I want to read, and then let me check the box.
Yeah.
Versus, well, it's for a good cause. I learned how to do that in kindergarten.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So I really like that. It works for me. Everybody wants to feel good and check a box.
Yeah.
Like many entrepreneurs and philanthropists, at some point, you have to look at what you're doing and impact. And you made some decisions about where you wanted to put that big push. How did you make those choices? And why did you make the choices that you did? And I'm referring to Variety Club and Children's Mercy, I believe, are your two biggies.
Yeah. One of our first customers, I won't mention him, but a very cool, neat guy locally, and he said, "Danny, at some point in time, you're not going to be able to say yes to all this stuff." And I had copied off Ben and Jerry's. I got to know Jerry, fairly well in the early days, and he said, "Well, we didn't have any money. That's the only way we could do it. We just gave away ice cream." And I thought, well, I don't have any money, and we could give away coffee. And so all these events, just thousands of events now we've given away coffee at. That's how that started. And then, what was your question?
Well, how did you make that kind of shift to, we're going to really focus on these two organizations as our
that's right.
big philanthropy?
So we would touch, it's kind of like Kaufman Foundation in the old days. We would touch 200 to 250 charities a year. And we were wide and shallow. We weren't really making much of a difference. And so we focused on, it's a little bit more involved, but we all really wanted to focus on children who this could be in a really different situation, no fault of their own. So then internally, I was getting a lot of pushback, and I said, well, let's first of all agree to the premise that all children are special. All children deserve help. Yes. So we can't save all the children in the world. We cannot. So if I help a child here or in Ethiopia or in Sumatra, if I can't help them all, can we agree that we help the children in Kansas City and we focus on them and then go outwards from that? And we all agreed to that. So then we felt the people doing the best job here in Kansas City for that with, Children's Mercy and Variety. Variety International in Kansas City, helping children with special needs. And
it's amazing what you've done, and salute to you. What one piece of quick advice would you give to a fellow business owner in terms of giving back?
Yeah, and I get the whole thing on giving back, but for us, we just feel like we started on third base. We're started in the United States. We started in Kansas City. Yes, it's hard. Yes, we worked hard, but still, we have so much more opportunity than most people have. Something that you're passionate about. Start with your passion. Start with something that you really care about, and then go all in.
Danny, thank you as always for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your coffee.
Appreciate it,
thank
Bobby.
you.
And we want to thank you for listening to Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications, a 501c nonprofit organization. We're proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. Like what you hear? Support our efforts. Sharing the stories of nonprofits. Underwriting opportunities are on our website.
To be a guest on Casey Cares or for underwriting opportunities, please visit Casey Cares Online, spread the love, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Casey Cares Online. And thank you for listening to Casey Cares on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 and 1510 AM.